The classroom was silent, eerily silent, until the sound of scissors slicing through hair shattered the stillness like a scream in the dark. All heads turned. Gaps erupted. A thick lock of silky, jet black hair fluttered to the floor like a fallen feather. Alara didn't move. She couldn't. Her eyes were wide, not from pain, but from the raw shock of betrayal, fear, and disbelief. The girl behind her, Savannah, the most popular girl in school, held the open scissors with a smirk that could cut sharper than the blades themselves. Time seemed to freeze. No one stood up. No one said a word. They just watched. That was the worst part. It had only been 5 days since Alara transferred to Crestwood High. A quiet girl from a small coastal town, she walked with her head down, and carried the kind of sadness in her eyes that only comes from having survived something no child should ever have to. Her father had died in a fire the previous year, while saving 2 children from a burning building. Children who weren't even his. A hero, the newspapers said. But all Alara remembered was the way her mother stopped smiling, and how their house never felt warm again. Her long, beautiful hair was her comfort, the only thing she hadn't lost. Her father used to brush it before school, calling it moonlight captured in strands. She never cut it, never dyed it, it was sacred. At Crestwood, she hoped to quietly start over. But Savannah and her clique had other plans. Crestwood wasn't kind to the quiet. It worshipped loudness, flash, and fitting in. And Alara, she didn't try to fit. She wore oversized sweaters, wrote poetry in the margins of her notebooks, and brought tuna sandwiches from home. Easy target. The whispers started on day 2. Did you see her shoes? Ooh, even brings fish to school. Creepy loner vibes. By day 4, the taunts became louder, more pointed. And now, day 5, the unthinkable happened. That moment in class was a blur. Ms. Hardwick, the substitute teacher, had stepped out to answer a call. Alara had been sketching in her notebook, when Savannah snuck up behind her. The scissors, taken from the art corner, flashed silver before slicing through her hair in one swift motion. Alara's breath caught in her chest. Her hand rose slowly, trembling, to the spot behind her ear. The strands were gone. The class was silent, then laughter. Not from everyone, just a few. But loud enough, cruel enough, she didn't cry. Not then. She picked up the severed lock of hair, with both hands as if cradling something precious. Then she stood up, walked calmly to the door, and left without a word. The room, still frozen in shameful silence, let her go. She didn't come to school the next day. Or the one after that. No one knew where she was, and no one seemed to care. Except one person, Javen. He sat 2 seats behind Alara in English. He wasn't part of any clique. He didn't talk much either, but he noticed things. Like how Alara would sometimes pause mid-writing and stare out the window, as if trying to remember a dream. Or how she always wiped down her desk before sitting, like she was trying to clean something deeper than dust. Javen had grown up bullied too, for his stutter, his thrift store clothes, his silence. He'd outgrown the stutter but not the memories. And something about Alara's quiet strength reminded him of his younger self. He didn't have many followers, but he posted on his school's anonymous message board that night. Someone in our class got hurt. Bad, we all saw it. No one stopped it. What does that make us? The post went viral within the school in hours. Then, something unexpected happened. Messages of guilt, support, and regret flooded in. I was there. I should have said something. I froze. I'm sorry. Alara, if you see this, you didn't deserve that. Someone even anonymously posted a blurry picture of the lock of hair still lying under her desk. The principal caught wind of the post. Savannah was called in. Denial at first. Then, under the weight of growing witness statements, a tearful confession. She got a suspension. Her clique scattered. But the damage had already been done. Still, Alara didn't return. Javen couldn't sleep. Something kept tugging at him. A need to do something real. So he did. He spent his weekend building a simple website called Stand for Alara. It wasn't fancy. Just a black background with her name in white, and below it, a space for people to leave messages. Kind ones only. And within hours it exploded. Hundreds of students. Messages like, "You matter. I used to think silence kept me safe, but now I know it makes me guilty. Please come back. We need people like you." Even some teachers posted, "Ms. Hardwick left a public apology. I failed you. I left you alone. I am so sorry." Javen printed the messages. Every single one, and folded them into an origami butterfly. He didn't know if it was cheesy or stupid, but something told him Alara would understand. He found her house from the school directory, and left the box on her porch with a note. "You're not alone anymore. Please come back." On Monday morning, the entire school buzzed with anxiety. Would she return? First period. Nothing. Second. Still no sign. Then, during third period English, the door opened. Alara stood there. But this time she looked different. Her hair, what was left of it, had been cut into a short, her eyes still held shadows, but also something news fire. She walked to her seat, quietly, gracefully. But as she sat, something unexpected happened. The entire class stood up, one by one, without a cue or signal. Students rose. Some placed small origami butterflies on her desk. Others simply nodded. There were no words, no grand speeches, just a silent stand of solidarity. Savannah wasn't there, but it didn't matter anymore. Miss Hastings, their regular teacher, paused before beginning the lesson. She looked at Alara and then at the class. "Sometimes," she said softly, "it takes great pain to awaken a greater kindness. Let this be that moment." From that day on, everything changed. Alara didn't magically become popular. That wasn't the point. But she was no longer invisible. Students said hi in the halls. Some sat with her during lunch. A few even asked to read her poetry. And Javen, he became her closest friend, quiet, thoughtful, real. They started a kindness club together. Not the cringy, forced kind, but a space where people could talk about their pain, their silence, their guilt. And through that, healing began. Alara later told Javen something that stuck with him forever. "When she cut my hair," she said, "I thought she took away the last piece of my dad. But when I walked back into that classroom, I realized, he never lived in my hair. He lived in the courage he passed down to me,